show you how to repair your metal boxes or metal containers when they get rusty. I usually use metal containers in storing my scrap metal, because if I use plastic or this one biscuit can, the biscuit can is too small. Now the plastic cannot withstand the weight of the metal, so they usually crack. The exception is this one. It's a heavy duty milk crate, so I can place my metals here and they can usually withstand the weight, but I prefer metal containers. This came from old metal cabinet. The cabinet got destroyed already, so I just salvage the metal drawers and then I store my scrap metals here. But because of age, and sometimes they get contaminated with rusty metal parts, the flooring got destroyed already. Certain portions became very rusty and there are holes already like that. But instead of throwing it away, it can still be salvaged by placing a GI sheet on certain portions that need reinforcement. So this is a GI sheet for roofing. This is the best in reinforcing your metal containers or metal drawers. So you can make your own metal boxes, but that's time consuming. So I'd rather preserve this, so I'll have containers for my scrap metal for my DIY projects. By the way, first you have to clean the rust off, and then you either use sandpaper, flap disc of your angle grinder, and then use metal converter you use metal converter on the rusty surface before applying red oxide metal primer. After applying the red oxide, you can now paint it with the color you want. In removing the rust of your metal project, you can use a flap disc, but this is highly abrasive. It will not only remove paint and rust, but it can eat metal away. So if you don't like to remove metal, just the paint and rust, you can buy this. It's silicon carbide ceramic grinding wheel, but when I bought it, it was still very expensive. It was 409 pesos and 75 centavos, just one disc. But I had to buy it because I had to remove the paint of my bicycle, and I did not want to eat into the metal portion of my bicycle frame. So this is the expensive one. Maybe now there are brands that are cheap, but at the time I was looking for this one for my bicycle. I was only limited to this brand. So again, you can use also a wire brush. You can attach this to your drill or die grinder. If you don't like to use power tools, you can use the old-fashioned way, scraping the rust off with your steel brush. After removing the rust, you put rust converter first on the rusty portions. Just obey the instructions and then let it dry for a day. Sometimes it says a few hours, but I don't usually obey the instructions. I just let the rust converter dry for a day, and then before painting it with enamel, you protect it with red oxide primer, that one, and then you can use enamel. This one I opted for water-based enamel, so it won't smell too bad, but this is again expensive compared to this one, and it's hard to locate this in the hardware store. this is already colored. It's lemon yellow, water-based, more expensive than Boysen. Now if you don't want to use red oxide and then enamel, there's a shortcut. You use this one for your metal projects. Roof guard. If it's good enough for your roof to protect it from rain and sunlight, it will be good enough for your metal projects, but you're limited to color. This is summer beige, and I think a few other few colors available. This is the advantage, is it's water based, so it doesn't smell bad compared to this one, which is oil based, so it really smells bad, and you have to use this in a well ventilated area. This one you can use it inside the room, and I can tolerate the smell inside the room. So one disadvantage of this Davis is that it's hard to find the colored enamel. What's usually in small hardware stores like Ace is that they have white, and then you have to pay for the mixing of the color you want, and that's time consuming and tedious. So I think Davis should improve their marketing for the convenience of their customers. And you know, this is readily available, but it smells bad. This is water based but hard to find. So this one, to fix this portion, I have to cut this here and then fold it here and then rivet it under this container. To cut this, you can use your angle grinder with cutting disc, or your aviation snippers, or you want to do it the old-fashioned way, GI sheet cutter. I think I'll do it the old-fashioned way. I'm not in a hurry anyway. So there, I've cut the portion, so I have to bend it in my sheet metal bender. So fold the other side also. So just rivet the piece of GI sheet by means of your rivet gun. So you can attach the piece here or inside. In my case, I find it more convenient to attach it here outside. So at least even if there are holes, this portion will be strong to store your scrap metal. Just do the same thing in the other portions that have to be covered with new pieces of GI sheets. So that one. So to repair this portion, I'll just use this sheet of metal. I'll bend it here, here and there, and then also rivet it like so. So I already bent it using my metal bender. If you don't have this gadget, you can patiently bend it, but it would take time using this kind of vice grip for sheet metal. This metal bender is quicker to use in bending sheets of metal. So just like here, place the reinforcement by means of rivets. So this box is ready for use. 2 more boxes to go with holes. So we can now apply the red oxide to protect this from rust, and then paint it with the color I want, in this case yellow. So after painting this, I can now put my scrap metal here in preparation for my other welding projects. I usually make a system, so here pipes, here angle bars, and then here odds and ends, miscellaneous scrap metal.